The wind cut across Red Canyon like a steel blade, carrying the scent of gunpowder and blood. Travis Reed crouched behind the weathered boulder, the Winchester repeater steady in his calloused hands. 5 riders circled the valley below, dust devils trailing their horses as they closed in on his scattered cattle. "Come on," Travis whispered, his breath fogging in the dawn air. The lead rider, tall with a blood-red bandana, raised his arm. Sunlight glinted off the Colt revolver in his hand. The signal. Travis exhaled slowly, squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked across the canyon. The lead rider jerked backward, tumbling from his saddle in a spray of crimson. Before the others could react, Travis worked the lever, fired again. A second man fell. The remaining 3 scattered like startled crows, returning fire wildly. Bullets chipped rock inches from Travis's head. He remained still as stone, waiting. 20 years of war and wilderness had taught him patience. When the dust settled, 2 dead rustlers lay sprawled on Arizona dirt. 3 had escaped. Travis's shoulder burned where a bullet had grazed flesh, but his herd was safe, for now. Night had fallen by the time he reached his ranch house, a sturdy 2-room cabin built with his own hands after the war. As he dismounted, something felt wrong. The door stood slightly ajar, lamplight flickering inside where there should be darkness. Travis drew his Colt, approached silently. Years in the 7th, cavalry had taught him how to move like a ghost. He kicked the door wide, weapon raised. A young native woman crouched in the corner, a skinning knife clutched in trembling hands. Her dark eyes blazed with fear and defiance. Blood soaked the crude bandage wrapped around her leg. "Who the hell are you?" Travis demanded, keeping his distance but not lowering his gun. "Naoma," she answered, voice steady despite her fear. "Apache, I need shelter." Travis noticed her accent. She'd clearly lived among whites before. Her dress was torn, her face bruised. Most striking was the grotesque angle of her injured leg, an old break, badly healed. "You're on the run," he stated. She nodded once. "Men coming, white men, and my uncle, Chief Blackhawk. They will kill me." Travis lowered his weapon slightly. "Why?" "My uncle sold me to white slave traders. I escaped." Her jaw tightened. "Bishop Kane leads them. He wants what he paid for." The name hit Travis like a physical blow. Bishop Kane, the same outlaw who'd led the raid that killed his wife 5 years ago. Travis's finger tightened on the trigger guard. "Kane? You certain?" She nodded. "Tall man, scar across throat, eyes like snake." Travis holstered his weapon, decision made. "Stay here. I'll check the perimeter." Outside, he scanned the darkness. The moon cast silver light across the canyon, revealing nothing but shadows and silence. But Travis knew better. Trouble always announced itself, eventually. As if summoned by his thoughts, hoofbeats approached from the east. Travis ducked behind the water trough, hand on his revolver. A lone rider appeared, Sheriff Morgan, an old war comrade. The lawman dismounted stiffly, arthritis evident in his movements. "Travis," he called. "You out here?" "Over here, Jim." Morgan approached, his weathered face grave in the moonlight. "Heard shots this morning. Your work?" "Rustlers. Kane's men." Morgan's eyes narrowed. "Kane's back? Thought that devil moved on to New Mexico." "Apparently not." Travis hesitated. "Got an Apache girl inside. Says Kane bought her from her uncle. She escaped." Morgan removed his hat, ran a hand through thinning gray hair. "That complicates things. Town's on edge with Apaches raiding north of here. Reverend Collins has folks all stirred up about the savage menace." "Collins can go to hell." "Maybe so, but if you're harboring an Apache fugitive with Kane on your trail—" Morgan shook his head. "That's a powder keg waiting for a spark." Travis's jaw tightened. "She stays. I've got business with Kane." Morgan sighed. "Figured you'd say that." Just watch yourself. Kane's got at least a dozen men riding with him now. After Morgan left, Travis returned inside. Neoma had managed to build a small fire in the hearth. The dancing flames illuminated her face, young, perhaps 20, with proud features hardened by suffering. "You heard?" Travis asked. She nodded. "Kane has many men. You should give me to them." Travis poured 2 fingers of whiskey, drank it in one swallow. "No one's giving you to anybody. Why help me? I am nothing to you." Travis stared into the fire. "My wife was Navajo, Rose Tree Woman. Kane's men killed her 5 years ago." He looked up, meeting Neoma's eyes. "That's reason enough." At dawn, Travis rode to his nearest neighbor, old Hank Williams, a former buffalo hunter who lived in a cabin 3 miles west. He found the old man whittling on his porch, a Sharps buffalo rifle leaning against the wall. "Trouble?" Hank asked without looking up. "Kane's back." Hank's knife paused mid-cut. "That's so." His voice was calm, but his eyes hardened. "Figured he'd return eventually." Travis explained the situation. Hank listened silently, his weathered hands continuing their work. "Apache girl, huh? Folks won't like that." Hank set down the half-carved wooden wolf. "Course, I never much cared what folks like. I need eyes and rifles, Hank. Kane's got numbers." Hank stood, joints creaking. "Still got my Sharps. Can hit a man at 800 yards. He smiled grimly. "Kane killed my boy in '68. Been waiting for a chance to return the favor." Back at the ranch, Travis found Neoma examining his gun cabinet. "You have many weapons," she observed. "War taught me to be prepared." Travis unlocked the cabinet, revealing an arsenal. Winchesters, Colts, a shotgun, and several military-issue weapons most civilians never saw. "You were soldier?" Travis nodded. "7th Cavalry, Scout Unit. We specialized in reconnaissance and ambush tactics." He selected a carbine, handed it to her. "You know how to use this?" "I can learn," she replied, examining the weapon with careful hands. "Good, because Kane will come, and when he does, we need to be ready." Over the next 3 days, Travis, Neoma, and Hank transformed the ranch into a fortress. They dug rifle pits at strategic points, set tripwires connected to bells, and prepared escape routes. Travis taught Neoma to shoot, surprised by her natural ability. "My mother was healer," she explained as they cleaned weapons that night. "She taught me steady hands." "Where is she now?" Neoma's expression darkened. "Dead. Soldiers attacked our camp when I was child. One white soldier tried to save her, but too late." On the 4th day, Travis rode into Copper Springs for supplies. The small mining town hummed with activity, freight wagons unloading, prospectors drinking away their disappointments, ranch hands buying provisions. As Travis tied his horse outside the general store, he felt eyes on him. Turning, he spotted Reverend Collins holding court with several townsmen outside the saloon. "Mr. Reed," Collins called, his voice carrying across the street. "Word is you're harboring an Apache squaw out at your place." Travis ignored him, entering the store. Martha Wilson, the proprietor, greeted him with a worried look. "Travis, folks are talking. Is it true?" "I mind my business, Martha. Suggest others do the same." He purchased ammunition, coffee, and dried beans. When he emerged, Collins and 5 men blocked his path. "This town won't stand for Indian sympathizers," Collins declared. "Not with good Christian folk being scalped in their beds." Travis faced him calmly. "Move aside, Reverend." "Or what?" a burly miner challenged, hand hovering near his pistol. The tension shattered as Sheriff Morgan approached. "That's enough. This is still my town, and there'll be no lynchings while I wear the star." The crowd dispersed reluctantly. Morgan pulled Travis aside. "You can't fight the whole town, Travis, and I can't protect you forever." "Not asking you to." Morgan lowered his voice. "Kane's men were spotted 10 miles south. At least 15 riders." Travis nodded. "Thanks for the warning." As he rode home, Travis spotted dust clouds to the east. Riders moving fast across the Badlands. Too many for Kane alone. Naoma confirmed his suspicions. Apache riders. My uncle leads them. How many? 8, maybe 10. Good warriors. Travis calculated quickly. Kane's 15 men from the south. Black Hawk's warriors from the east. Trapped between them, his ranch stood little chance. That night, as they finalized preparations, Sheriff Morgan arrived unexpectedly. Came to warn you, he said, accepting a cup of coffee. Kane reached town. He's gathering more men. Travis studied his old friend's face. Something felt wrong. Morgan avoided his eyes, his hand trembling slightly as he drank. That all, Jim? Morgan set down his cup. Travis, His hand moved suddenly toward his holster. Naoma fired first. The shot caught Morgan in the shoulder, spinning him to the ground. Travis kicked away the sheriff's weapon. Why, Jim? Morgan clutched his bleeding shoulder. Kane has my daughter, he gasped. Took her from school in Tucson. Said he'd kill her if I didn't deliver the girl. Travis bound Morgan's wound. Kane's lying. He doesn't take prisoners. Morgan's face crumpled. I know, but what choice did I have? At dawn, gunfire erupted from the South Ridge. Kane's men had arrived. Stay down, Travis shouted as bullets splintered wood and shattered windows. Hank Sharp's rifle boomed from his position in the barn loft. A rider fell from his horse, then another. The old buffalo hunter's aim remained deadly. Travis fired methodically from a rifle pit, targeting riders who ventured too close. Naoma moved between positions, delivering ammunition and firing when necessary. The attack paused after an hour. Travis counted 3 dead attackers. 12 remained, now cautious, spread among the rocks. They're waiting for something, Hank called. The answer came from the east, war cries echoing across the canyon. Black Hawk's Apache warriors appeared on horseback, weapons raised. 2 enemies, Travis muttered. Maybe they'll fight each other. But Kane had other plans. A white flag rose from behind a boulder. Reed! Kane's voice carried across the battlefield. Send out the girl and you live. Go to hell, Travis answered. Kane laughed. Already been there. Got the marks to prove it. The standoff continued until mid-afternoon, when dust clouds appeared on the northern horizon. More riders approaching. We're surrounded, Naoma said grimly. But as the riders drew closer, Travis recognized Apache garb, different from Black Hawk's men. Another tribe? He asked Naoma. She squinted, then her expression changed. Silver Wolf, my cousin. He leads our mother's clan. The newcomer stopped out of rifle range. A single rider approached under a truce flag. Silver Wolf was tall, with a face like chiseled stone. He dismounted at Travis's gesture. You hold my cousin, he stated in accented English. She's here by choice, Travis replied. Silver Wolf nodded. Black Hawk betrayed our people. He sells Apache to white slavers for weapons and whiskey. His dark eyes flashed. We come for justice. As if triggered by his words, gunfire erupted between Kane's men and Black Hawk's warriors. The 2 enemy forces, distrusting each other, had opened fire. Now, Travis shouted. He, Hank, and Naoma fired into the chaos, exploiting the confusion. Silver Wolf's warriors charged from the north, catching both groups in a deadly crossfire. In the mayhem, Travis spotted Kane himself, tall with a distinctive red bandana, directing his men from behind a boulder. Their eyes met across the battlefield. Travis moved without thinking, working his way through the gunfire toward his wife's killer. A bullet grazed his thigh. Another tore through his sleeve. He kept moving. Kane saw him coming, smiled coldly. They fired simultaneously. Travis felt the impact in his shoulder, stumbled, but kept his feet. Kane wasn't so fortunate. 2 bullets had found their mark, chest and throat. The outlaw fell backward, blood bubbling from his lips. Travis stood over him, Winchester aimed at Kane's heart. Remember Rose Tree Woman? Travis asked. Recognition flickered in Kane's dying eyes. "This is for her," Travis said, and pulled the trigger. The battle ended quickly after Kane's death. Silver Wolf's warriors overwhelmed Black Hawk's smaller force. The chief himself died by his nephew's hand. Tribal justice served. Kane's surviving men fled south, pursued by Silver Wolf's riders. As sunset painted the canyon walls crimson, Travis surveyed the aftermath from his porch. 16 dead in total, his ranch damaged but standing. Hank had taken a bullet in the arm but would recover. Naoma tended the wounded with skilled hands. Approaching hoofbeats announced new visitors, Reverend Collins and a dozen townsmen, armed and grim-faced. "We heard the fighting," Collins called. "Came to handle the Indian problem." Travis stepped forward, Winchester cradled in his arms. "The only problem was solved today. Kane's dead. So is Black Hawk." "That don't change the fact you're harboring savages," Collins retorted. Hank emerged from the barn, his buffalo gun in hand. "You'll have to go through 2 war veterans to get to them, Reverend." Collins hesitated, calculating odds. Before he could respond, another rider approached, a stranger in a dusty black coat. He dismounted, revealing a federal marshal's badge. "James Harrison, U.S. Marshal," he announced. "I've been tracking Kane's slave trading operation for months." He surveyed the battlefield. "Seems you folks saved the government considerable trouble." Collins and his men departed reluctantly. The marshal took statements, then left to arrange the transport of prisoners and bodies. As night fell, Travis, Hank, Naoma, and Silver Wolf gathered around the fire. The Apache leader spoke first. "My people need allies in this changing world," he said. "Would you be such an ally, Travis Reed?" Travis looked at Naoma, who had proven her courage beyond doubt. "I would." "My cousin stays here?" Silver Wolf asked. Naoma answered for herself. "I stay. As partner, not servant, we rebuild this ranch together." Travis nodded. "Equal partners." Hank chuckled. "Guess I'll stick around too. Someone's got to teach you youngsters how to shoot straight." Later, Travis stood alone on the ridge above his ranch. Starlight silvered the canyon walls that had witnessed so much bloodshed. For the first time since Rose Tree Woman's death, he felt purpose returning. The land below was changing. The Old West was dying, but something new was being born in its place, a place where different peoples might find common ground. It wouldn't be easy. Nothing worthwhile ever was, but it was worth fighting for. In the distance, coyotes howled, the song of hunters on the move. Travis smiled grimly. Some called this harsh country the devil's playground, but he knew better. This was the land of wolves, and he was home.